Welcome to DiggingRichmond. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about, especially for beginners in metal detecting. Once you get your metal detector, what do you do from here on? And it's not just getting your detector, which I have here. What I use is I have a minelab Equinox 800 as my detector that I use for most of the park hunting. It comes with a wireless headphone, and you don't need to have this, but it definitely helps for some of the tones that you hear below the ground. So definitely think about it when you're buying a machine, is to have your wireless headphone attached with your machine and paired. And from there, you need to have also equipment to excavate your targets. I've got my little shovel that I have. This is the NX5 shovel that most of the hunters have. It's a great little spade. It's a 9-inch spade, and most of the depth on detectors will be around 9-inch. I will, if it's a 4-inch depth, I'll go halfway down the shovel when I'm excavating, and we will show you that later on in the video, how to do that. But and then this one also fits on my belt, so I don't need to carry it. It'll just hang on my belt, and I can walk around with it. And you can get this little clip to put on there. So that's another accessory you'll need. And from there, you're going to need a little digger. Again, having it serrated on both sides. When you're cutting your plugs, you're going to need to have something like that. I use the whites. I find it's the strongest because a lot of times you have to do a lot of prying with this knife, and you need some strength in there. It's just a great piece of equipment to have. And again, the link's going to be down below on my website. So the whites, that's one. Then you have to go, you're going to need some sort of a bag to carry your treasures that you're going to find. And it's not always treasures, it's trash a lot of times. So you're going to need it. I use the Ultimate Grey Ghost Ultimate Find in here. So great bag. You need a pair of gloves for when you're digging. And also you're going to need a little bottle of some kind for your coins and your little treasures. And it does fit at the side of this bag, like so. It can go in there and have it in there. So this, everything goes in. Lots of pockets around this. It attaches to, again, your waist. You know, you can put that on, attach it like yay, and you know, you can have that hold on. And again, your knife will go on. You can attach your knife. I usually keep that on this side. And so that's basically your setup. You will have your pinpointer. You've got your pinpointer, and it depends on what brand you like. I mean, I have the minelab, I have the Garret pinpointer, I have the whites, but I tend to use the minelab Pro 35 the most, easy on and off. I've put this little cone protector on the end. It comes from Amazon in a pack of 3. I glued it on, and it just protects the end of it. So, and that goes in there like yay. And so that's part of it. Then I have gel knee pads that go on for your knees. You're doing a lot of kneeling up and down as you start finding your targets. So you're going to need a good knee pads just to protect your knees. The last I recommend is getting an excellent pair of boots. These boots, I use them in the winter, summer. I use them in the beach. I use them in the parks. Excellent pair of boots. Get a good pair of boots for your feet. They're not a cheap pair, but well worth the investment. And it is an investment in your feet, so get that. And that's your basic start. And from here, we'll take you in showing you how to sweep properly will be your next step. Then we go to finding your target, excavating your target, and that's it. So we'll leave you here and we'll come back after. I wanted to show you how to properly sweep with your machine. I see people, the coils not parallel with the ground, and it's just not the proper way of doing it. I see them flailing way up either side of them with their machines, and it's just, you miss a lot of the targets. You have to try to be parallel with the ground at all times. So again, is you have to adjust your machine, make sure the machine is adjusted to your height, so you're not bending over and doing that, because very quickly your back's going to kill you before the day's over with. So always make sure you're upright, cock your elbow a little bit, and just keep everything parallel and sweeping. And I'll walk towards you, showing you how to sweep properly. And basically, it's just you count to 1, 2, a nice slow pace. Right in front of you. Listen for those targets, the beeps of your machine, where they hit, and when you find something, you can stop, back up a little bit, listen if it's what you want to dig. If not, you move on. Nice and smooth, level with the ground, and you're going to find all the perfect targets for you, and that's the proper way of sweeping with your coil. Okay, so as we're coming up to target, we can find our target. The tone is nice and loud, solid. Pinpoint, I usually back off a little bit, find my center, and once I've found it, I'll back off, watch where it is. And that's where the target should be, right below that knife. So what I do, rather than going right where it is, I'll take a little circle around it just to excavate so I don't hit the target in case it's something valuable. I'm using the knife right now because in this instance, it's not very deep. So you go down, again, this is serrated. This should be only a couple inches to target. So I make a nice round circle. And again, this White's knife is really great for prying. I don't make the full cut. I just kind of make a nice little divot and flip it up. Then from there, once you have that, get your pinpointer out and try to find where that target is. In this case, just like most other times, it disappears. And what I do sometimes too is I'll see where the target is. Should be right over top. And there it is right there, right in there. So let's just go. There it is. So it's in this clump here somewhere. You can hear it beeping. It's come out, little chunk of metal. Oh, there it was. It was just a wee little chunk. Sometimes they're very difficult to find because they're so small, but In this case, it's just a tiny little piece of metal that's come down. And it's something that you can bag, you can take with you. But once you're done, close that hole up, cover it, pound it down like there wasn't even there. And usually what I'll do is I'll step on it, squish everything back in its hole so I haven't been there, fluff it up, and it's like that you haven't even been there. And that's the way you should leave your hole. We have a possibility of a coin of some kind. The numbers are kind of coming into that spot, and it's right below my little shovel. I'm going to use a shovel. It's about halfway down in here, so I'm only going to go halfway down the shovel because I'm trying to kind of keep the hole small enough. So it does make a nice divot. You can make a beautiful little circle with it. And just do a little pry as trying to get it all up to make a nice divot. Don't make it all the way around. Oops. So that sometimes happens. So try not to get it cut off. In this case, it broke. Just flip it over. And then look for your target with your pinpointer. Again, it might be a little deeper. Where'd it go? Get your machine. Right below us in there, so right there. There. Look at this. Look what we found here. A little toy soldier. Kind of a cool little plastic soldier lying in here. So a lot of times you'll find little treasures like that. Now, are still there. Let me get my little excavating knife. Still there. We've got a difficult one to find here. Right below us here. We're making a bit of a mess, but we'll clean it up. Oh, there it is. So it looks like it's some sort of a copper cylinder. Don't know exactly what, but that was it. And that was hitting a copper penny range for us, so that's what we found. But in this case, we found two targets. A little soldier we'll clean up, and a little metal one. So now that we've got the hole, we've got to put it back to where it'll make it look like we haven't been here. So fill in everything, put your pieces down. Try to make it look like you haven't even been here. I always squish down my divots back in there. It's quite dry right now, but you know, it's just cover it back up, making sure, try to cover your hole and leave it as best as you can when you find it, so to eliminate any problems with the parks in there. So anyway, that's how you excavate, and hopefully you found that interesting. Please subscribe, it's free, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming along. DiggingRichmond out. 2 thumbs up.